Now, some of the thousands of people whose travel plans were disrupted by the latest volcanic ash cloud from Iceland will no doubt be wondering whether they're entitled to any compensation.
The cloud affected flights from Scottish and North East airports, leaving many having to rethink their plans. Some had even been affected by last year's ash cloud as well. But it seems many who were caught up in the crisis last year failed to get compensation for the disruption.
Well, a new ruling has made it possible to claim back your costs. The Financial Ombudsman, which settles complaints between businesses and consumers, says travel insurance companies which refuse to pay out over a clause over poor weather must now do so. Well, here to shed a bit more light on all this is insurance broker Willard Wright. Thank you very much indeed for being here. In a nutshell then, what does this ruling mean?
Yes, the Ombudsman's made a binding decision, which means that on travel insurance policies, which previously would cover poor weather conditions, but many insurers tried to avoid liability, the Ombudsman's made this binding decision, and those insurers must now meet claims made by policyholders because they believed it was only fair and reasonable that an ash cloud, which was transported by the wind, did constitute poor weather conditions.
OK, so who's eligible to claim and what can they get back?
Yeah, anybody who had a travel policy at the time of last year's ash cloud, which was in April 2010, they're able now to revisit those claims, resubmit those claims for any costs which they incurred. People who were caught abroad had disruption costs. They maybe had to reroute to get back to the UK. There was 100,000 people who were caught in that scenario. And there was also people in the UK who had their holiday cancelled or the trips cancelled, and they sometimes couldn't get the costs back for excursions that they'd booked. The providers refused to reimburse them, and they can now be reimbursed.
So even if they were told last year by their insurers, you don't have a valid claim, you can resubmit, you can go back to them?
That's right, you can, yes. This Ombudsman decision is binding. So people, and a lot of people didn't realise this, they can now resubmit their claims. It's going to cost the insurance industry millions of pounds, this now.
I mean, you mentioned that it can even cover things like the excursions that people were due to take, so it really does cover just about everything potentially.
Yeah, out-of-pocket expenses arising from disruption or delay in their travel is normally covered by a travel insurance policy, and that's the cost that these people have had to incur. They've had to pay it themselves, they haven't been reimbursed, and now they're entitled to make a claim again, resubmit the claims.
No doubt the insurance will learn from this, and they'll insert a little clause now for future policies. If you're travelling in the future, is it better to book a package rather than those components? Are you safer?
You can. You would be better to book a package. The reason being that the EU directive has been strengthened since last year, and it now makes ATOL registered package tour providers responsible for all your costs arising from disruption of just this sort of thing. So yes, that's the case, yeah.
Willard, thank you very much indeed for clearing that up. Good to see you. Thank you.